Hello, beautifuls. Big hugs. It is so wonderful to be seen by your light and in your presence today. I hope you're giving yourself a squeeze right now. I know we could all use a little squeeze. So I want to sit down and talk with you about the shadow healing, shadow integration, shadow work, this term that we use within spirituality that has only come up not too long ago, and it is often used to describe the hidden aspects of self, the things that we either consciously or subconsciously, unconsciously hide from ourselves. These could be programs, they could be thoughts, beliefs, emotions that maybe we have disowned, or maybe we have not or do not have full awareness over. So I have this way of going about it that I really want to share with y'all, and to just shed a bit of light on what this shadow work actually is, how it is connected to our healing, and why it is important to do right now especially. And I feel like naturally we are all going collectively into this shadow healing and integration, and this is more so kind of brushing up what has been beneath the surface, actually taking the rug off, and all of this dust and dirt and everything is just like blowing up into the air. So we're noticing that is happening collectively. And so when we start to see ourselves on this harmonious connection to all that is, and we start to observe the different things that are happening, events that are happening throughout the world, we're starting to see that there is this opening that's happening. And I feel like technology has really assisted us in creating that connection to notice this opening that's happening. And this opening, we can tend to see it as something a little bit more negative, right? Because we're starting to see a lot of horrors and lies coming to the surface. So much is coming to the surface. And I feel that this is, in a sense, humanity's shadow work really coming to the surface. And what we get to do is decide whether or not we are going to use this awareness, this opening that's happening, what is happening right in front of our eyes, and allow ourselves to move forward in a way that honors the core values that are aligned with us, or to fully ignore it. And I feel like humanity, we have been ignoring and running and fearing from the darkness for so long. We have so much fear over this darkness, whether that be mortality, death, whether that be really allowing ourselves to explore our inner being and our inner sight and the womb space, this connection to all that is, this connection to the physical and the non-physical realms, the spiritual realms, right? These spaces that feel like you can't tangibly touch them, right? It's not always something you can see. So this is what I really see as the shadow. I really see it as those more hidden parts of us, whether we consciously begin to hide these and to say, no, I don't want to align with this. This is not something that I want to identify with. And yet it is still there beneath the surface. You're still feeling these specific feelings or these thoughts, but it's not something that's top of mind. You're ensuring that it stays behind. And this can happen at any point during our lives. It could also be some programs, some foundational programs and beliefs and thoughts that have been seeded in that feel a bit more negative, that may not be serving your current alignment state right now, what it is that you're going towards in your life. With that, especially when that comes up, when we start to open ourselves up on this healing journey and our spiritual journey, we start to open up the gates to those parts of us, which we can see as shadows because we do not maybe fully resonate with them or believe them, and yet they are still very potent and there and can easily take over our being, and has been probably running the show in the background, and we haven't even known it through a lot of our lives and throughout relationships. So the shadow, this darkness, I guess that we can call it, I really see it as the truth bearer. And why would that be so? Why would something that we don't fully resonate with be a truth bearer? Because this is something that you are holding. So when the shadow comes up, when these thoughts come up, when emotions happen, when you get triggered, when these things come up, This is your being, your energy, your soul, letting you know what is not in alignment, what is still living within your being, what you are still holding, what you are not fully allowing to be present with you, to teach you an aspect of yourself that you then from there get to choose whether you are going to continue on that story, on that path, or begin to rewrite it. And something I think that is very important when it comes to this, because especially when I was starting this work, it was very much a mental practice. I would take my journal and everything would be just like a journal journey, which I think is very powerful and still very palpable today. However, doing that alone oftentimes does not fully give space to the emotional body and to the spiritual body at times, and also to the physical body. So what I want to really invite in, for perspective's sake, is to allow ourselves to recognize the sensations that occur when we are maybe journaling these things out, or maybe we're writing out our thoughts when we start to have, those like strange feelings, or, the jealousy comes up, or maybe you start to have like a lot of judgment or a trigger comes up. Yes, write down your thoughts. This is something that my guides were really sharing is very important, at least for me in my journey, was to actually write down what was going on in my head as I was like going through an anxiety attack, and it actually really helped. I turned on some frequencies as well, but I realized that this gave me an opportunity, once I regulated and pulled myself into a state where I felt safe again, it gave me an opportunity to look at those foundational core beliefs that I have been ignoring this whole time, that I've been saying are not me. These are disowned aspects that, you can disown it, but perhaps it hasn't fully left because it has some type of purpose in your life, whether that is to protect you, to maintain a level of connection with people or belonging in community. So these can be very much aspects of survival that we're holding on to. And when we look at survival within our being, maybe not just the mental body, we're seeing it in the physical body. And this can look like those anxiety attacks or those panic attacks, or it could simply feel like certain aches and pains within the body. It could be, a quickening of heart rate when you're triggered, or when you're feeling angry, or any type of emotion. We start to feel it in our body. So why not allow ourselves to then listen to that sensation, that call of the body that's saying, hey, this is something that's coming up. And perhaps we're not really in a state where we're fully aware of what these shadows may be. And I don't suggest going down the rabbit hole unless you really feel called, unless something's coming up. And this is where presence really comes in. When we utilize the power of our true presence, we are open and available to start listening to the sensations within the body, to start allowing ourselves to feel the emotions, to welcome them in so that they may shift, so that they may lead us to what is really going on beneath the surface, which can often be those specific thoughts, those beliefs, right? These programs that are coming up. They're all signals. I want you to really remember this. The body sensation is signaling to you something, right? And sometimes it's more of an energetic thing, where as soon as you tune into it, you're like, oh, it's gone. Or perhaps it's something that, you get to tune into every single day, or maybe it's something calling you to really nourish your being and body with, really calling you to find some sense of balance within. And I think that's what we're always looking for, is like this sense of homeostasis. And for some of us, that homeostasis could be in this really active, high anxiety, hypervigilant state, where there is fear, or maybe there is just like high energy and we're very busy, and maybe perhaps very masculine in the way that we constantly are planning and structuring things out. And it could also look like feeling very numb, feeling very disconnected, feeling very overall just not motivated at all, not feeling like we have any energy to do anything at all, and having a hard time even getting up to do our practices. So those are more extremes that perhaps some of us may inch a little bit toward when it comes to the nervous system. And this, I feel, is a huge aspect when it comes to actually healing these aspects of self, these shadow aspects, if you will, to really integrating our true core values, what is truly aligned with us, these true stories, these true, phrases and thoughts and beliefs and sensations and ways of being and living in embodiment of our true self. That was a lot of words, but I feel like the nervous system here is really going to be that key in the integration process of the work that we are doing. And when we start to skip it, especially if we feel like things have settled in the body, if there were, childhood traumas or, childhood beliefs that are still kind of working in the system in the background here, the body may also have that memory as well. Body remembers. This is why I feel really working with not even just regulating, but allowing yourself to deeply listen to your body, listen to what you need, be able to ask for support when you need it. When we're deep into the shadow work, oftentimes we need perspective in a way that makes sense for us. For some of us, talking about it can be really helpful. For some of us, talking about it could be very detrimental because we're very overstimulated within the mind. We're having a tough time starting to see things a bit differently, or maybe we get frustrated because our being is still, holding on to these things that we just want to let go, right? So this is where we get to tune into what kind of support and integrative practices we actually need personally to move through what we're moving through. And what's really fascinating, and why I started talking about the collective in the beginning, was that collectively, when we start to do this work together, and I've done this work within my program Liberate Love, and I've already created and would love to invite anyone into this space if they feel called, a shadow healing and integration course where we get to do the work together, like online. And being able to do this, hearing these stories, going through actual processes, being coached in the process all together, is so healing, because we are recognizing the deep synchronicities within the current moment, the present moment of what we are moving through, whether we have been aware of it or not. It just provides this sense of like community and connection in a way that feels like I'm not alone anymore. Like I'm not alone in this process. And I feel like when it comes to this work in the spiritual community, sometimes it's like all about doing it on your own, doing your inner work, all of these things. And I feel like us returning to this healthy form of community and communication is so needed for the healing of humanity. And also bringing another element into this that I love to do, because I love feeling supported and just like beautifying and bringing in just like a lot of love into my being. And this is a huge aspect of being able to do this shadow work, is having a loving foundation for yourself. And if you feel like that's not really strong, or you struggle with that, that's where you can begin, is really just working on your sense of self-love and how you take care of yourself. And from there, you can begin to open that portal within yourself and really feel a lot more supported and grounded in the process. But something I like to add is really working with the earth, working with the elements, working with the wind to help me release any thoughts, working with the water, oh my gosh, for like healing and purification, working with herbs, sitting with trees, taking like spiritual cleansing baths through the entire process. I consider myself a ceremonialist. So I really believe in the power of ceremony. And this is simply taking some space that is deeply intentional for your being. And this is what I consider any program or course that I do to be, is a ceremony. It's an amplified space and container for our intention to come into fruition. And it's such a beautiful inward journey and initiation that it can be. So aiding in all of this, working with the body, working through, mentally what's going on, really learning how to flow with your emotions, recognizing your relationship with these emotions. Some emotions are very like, we are not allowed to feel them, or we don't realize how suppressed our anger or our sadness or our happiness, that can also be an aspect of shadow work as well. It doesn't have to be just one thing. and also bringing in, the support with the earth, regaining this connection to community in this process of healing, recognizing you do not have to do this alone, that we can really amplify and assist one another in the process. And truly, this work is ancestral healing. This work is self-love. This is the inner work. Shadow work is all of it. So to pinpoint and name things as like, oh, this is my shadow, oh, this is my inner child, oh, this is ancestral, it's all the same. This is why I like calling it inner work, because that's what's happening here. I pray that this gives you some perspective on how to kind of go about this, and also to recognize what we get to reclaim currently, here and now, as humanity, as a collective, and what is occurring right now. I want you to know that you are not alone in your processes, and that it's okay to share what is happening. It's okay to, seek out support. It's okay to go through your processes if you need to. If you want to create more of a ceremonial space to really hold you, to call in your guides, your angels, your ancestors, whoever you'd like to assist you in this process, please do. And we start to go into these darker parts within ourselves, which are really just aspects of ourselves calling for attention, calling for deeper love and alignment. This can feel alienating. We tend to isolate, or maybe we tend to distract ourselves, and this is why it may have been hidden for so long, because it was too much. So why not work through these things together? Why not share these things, be open in this process? Because we are all doing it probably silently right now. So I send you so much love. I can feel that heat coming on my back. Thank you, sun. And a couple last reminders, if you're really into this work, is to drop back into gratitude. Allow yourself and your energy, your body, to lay on the earth, really rebalance your electromagnetic field with the earth. Breathe, write everything down. Allow yourself to record these things, create reminders for yourself. So important. If you are rewriting stories right now, create reminders, repeat it every single day. Let it be part of your practice. Let it be part of your life, and give yourself a lot of love in the process. Allow this to be exciting. And I think that's an interesting word to use for this type of work, but I really find it so fascinating when things come up, even though it's really intense and personal. And then I realize, oh my goodness, I get to see how this has been integrated already within my being, and how to kind of uproot myself so that I can root into a foundation that feels aligned. And I feel that is so fascinating, so deeply fascinating. So I love this work. And this is, a part of what I feel is so needed, is us being able to do this process, yes, for ourselves, and gain perspective in these processes, and the healing and the connection and support with others as well. So thank you once again. My outros are always like, wow, so lengthy. So I appreciate you. I so appreciate you for being here at this time. Please do comment down below if there's anything that came up for you, anything that you want to share with others. I'm going to pin a comment down below if you are interested in my shadow healing and integration course, which is going to start at the end of October 2024. We start on the 27th, and it's called Becoming One. And this is really what's happening. We're regaining our sense of wholeness, and I'm so excited to offer some spiritual cleansing herbs and blends and some wisdom, and to hold space and really assist each one of us within this space. Maybe learn some new tools of going through this process with more ease, with more love and joy and presence in the process. All right, very holistic approach, very down to earth, and it's going to be a more fun way of approaching all of this work, which I think is alchemy in itself. So if you're interested in anything at all, check in the description box below. Please do like the video if this served you, if this awakened anything within you. I'm really here to just offer remembrance and activation within this process, and deep support. Lots of love, showers of love to you. Thank you. I will see you in another video.